Hey everyone, this is Adam with PsychedelicInvest.com. Today I'm going to be giving you guys my opinion on the recent Atai earnings report, Atai Life Science, ticker symbol ATAI. They trade on the Nasdaq. Um, Most of you people watching the video probably know who Atai is. They're easily one of the two biggest fish in the psychedelic biotech pond. I consider Atai and Compass Pathways to be the two big fish. Atai I actually consider to be the biggest fish, and the most solid of the psychedelic companies, and it mostly has to do with the investors that are associated with the company, as well as their giant cash position. And I do like their business model as well. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's get into the breakdown of the financials. So like I said in my last video, for a lot of these early stage biotech companies, I will be focusing just on the cash on hand, cash and cash equivalents. I'll be focusing on those. I'll be focusing on the losses and the pipeline. In regards to Atai Life Sciences, they have a very, very robust pipeline. It's very readily available for you to find. They have, in my opinion, the strongest pipeline out of all the psychedelic stocks. Period. They have the strongest, most diverse pipeline. So, like, to just give you guys an idea is, so Atai considers themselves a mental health biotech company. So they're not completely married to psychedelics, even though psychedelics make up the majority of the molecules they are working on. But I do like that because you have some diversification within getting this like tremendous amount of psychedelic exposure. Um, Atai will take ownership stakes in companies that they like, help fund them, and by giving them loans and stuff. And basically, if it works out, if these companies that they invest in and start generating money or get through the FDA process and it works out, it in turn is better for Atai. It turns out to be a good investment for them. Um, so let's get into it. So coming into so once again, I just want to say I'm not going to do a deep dive into their pipeline. That's for another video. But for those of you who do know, Atai has the most diverse and robust pipeline in all of the psychedelic sector. And for those of you who don't know, now you know that Atai has the most robust and diverse pipeline in the whole psychedelic sector. So there we go. So that's pipeline. All right. So now let's get into the financials. So Atai ended the year with a strong cash position of $362 million, which it anticipates will be sufficient to provide a cash runway of approximately 2 years. So I think, once again, $362 million is a tremendous amount of money, and obviously it depends on their cash burn. But if they're giving a runway of 2 years, 2 years is a decent amount of time in biotech time. I think having a runway of 2 years for an investor is sufficient. So basically, it's like, as an investor, the way I'm looking at it is like, okay, so let's say if things go pretty well. Best case scenario, they get a 2 year runway. So within 2 years, I have to decide whether I want to remain in this investment. Is the investment appreciating and stuff like that before you have to even think about dilution. So it's, once again, it's something, a 2 year runway is sufficient enough. Like, even 1 year, like for example, MindMed, is okay, but you just want as much time as possible, and like 2 years to me is good. It's a very good amount of time, and Atai has shown time and time again that they can raise funds very easily. So you have investors who are just clamoring to invest into Atai. Like, the plain and simple, their pre-IPO was there was a lot of people just trying to get involved in it. I was one of them. And it was there's no short of interest in Atai. So like I'm really not worried about their cash position, even beyond 2 years. Yes, dilution is something you would have to consider at the 2 year point, but we'll see how things unfold like during that time. It could end up happening. Things can unfold in a way where, because of the investments Atai has made, that they can start kind of generating some type of revenue within those 2 years. So like I'll talk specifically with one of the companies that Atai has an investment in called Intelligenex, IGXT. It's a microcap penny stock, but they own 25% with the option to own 60% of IGXT. So Atai owns already 25% of this company. IGXT is very, very close to generating significant amount of revenue for the company itself. And I would say within 2 years, they should be generating some good revenues for Atai. So like that's something that a lot of investors in Atai don't even they're not even aware of. But what Atai is building or is trying to build some kind of moat, and it's through these subsidiaries that it's more than likely to happen in the short term. So it's like just good for investors to know. So like with that said, I am bullish on Atai and a lot of their subsidiaries. That's just a preface so you understand my perspective coming into it. But yeah, so like that's a good example. So anyway, 362 million is great. I like that. I like that it's a 2 year runway. Obviously, we could always wish it's more, but 2 years is sufficient. Now let's look at the net losses. So the net loss to shareholders for the 3 and 12 months ended December 31st, 2021 was 88.9 million and 167.8 million. So it's basically 167.8 million for the year. So like their estimate of a 2 year runway makes sense. Hopefully, look, with Atai's business model, they're going to be making these acquisitions, these partnerships, giving loans out to these other companies. This is like, so like spending money is just part of their whole business model. I'm hoping they can keep it, I guess, right around here so that they can maintain this 2 year runway. But at the same time, like I understand that. And like I've mentioned with other biotech companies, they are going to have to spend to grow. You are going to have to spend money to push your drugs through the pipeline. You are going to have to spend money if there are delays in the FDA process. It's just part of how all this works. So if they can keep their net losses around here and still maintain this 2 year runway, I'm okay with that. Once again, like I said, the big thing to focus on is there's a 2 year runway. And yeah, so that's the gist of it. I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's very neutral. Once again, this is a lot of these biotech companies. You're not going to be getting earth-shattering news during these earnings reports, and they're not really going to be, unless they are these ketamine clinics that are currently functioning. They're not going to be crushing it on the revenue side either. So it's like you get this, you're like, okay, as an investor, I have 2 years, a 2 year time frame before I have to worry about dilution. So that's like a nice green flag. They have a lot of cash on hand. They can raise funds. They have a robust pipeline, this and that. I really like Atai Life Sciences. I think they are one of the safest picks in the entire psychedelic sector, and even more so at these current prices. They IPO'd around $22, and now they're trading in a channel of anywhere. You can grab shares anywhere from $4.80 to, like, I've seen highs of $5.77, something like that. That's the channel they kind of ride within. So like I would say that these are great prices to buy Atai Life Sciences. And full disclosure, I do have a position in Atai. So yeah, that's just my feelings on the earnings report. They gave updates on the pipeline. I think the most significant thing in the near term is Compass Pathways. So basically, Compass Pathways is getting very close to their phase 3. Once that happens, and if it's all good news like it has been in the other phases, Compass is going to, number one, act as a catalyst for the entire psychedelic industry, and also act as a catalyst for Atai because of their ownership stake in that. So I would just keep an eye on that, because that's going to be something as an Atai and Compass investor that you just want to be aware of. And a psychedelic investor, it's a catalyst for the whole sector. You want to be aware of this stuff. All right, cool. And now let's go to the chart, and then we'll wrap this video up. Yeah, let's go. All right, I told, like, there's not much that we're gonna be able to show on the chart for Atai, generally. Like I said, it's neutral, and like exactly what I've been saying with these other earnings reports for these psychedelic companies. They're not going to act as catalysts to start catapulting the price of the stock up. Atai is going to, like it's doing right now, is just stick within its channel. It'll probably hit lows of a little bit underneath $5, and it'll probably hit highs of around $5.77 or to $6. We'll see how it works out. But yeah, I don't predict any wild swings from this. But as an investor in Atai and as potential investors, I urge you to take a hard look at Atai. 2-year runway, robust pipeline, easily the biggest pipeline in the sector. They're diversified because they're not only doing psychedelics, and they just have the cash and the assets. They have because of the investments in these subsidiaries, they have, I think, on this earnings report, they had unrealized gains. So basically just appreciated investments in these companies of around $20 million. That's nothing to scoff at. But yeah, as if you're wanting to dip your toes into the psychedelic sector and you don't want to, and you want something that's less risky, I would take a hard look at Atai. I would look at Compass, and I would even, as neutral as I am on MindMed, I would also take a look at MindMed at these prices. But my main two would be, Atai and Compass. Those would be the two that I would really be looking to. If I was just dipping my toes into the psychedelic sector, those are the two I would want to invest in. Atai before Compass, because Compass, their whole pipeline is psilocybin, and everything hinges on their psilocybin trials. Atai is kind of protected from that, where they will benefit from the positive Compass results, but they're so diversified that if that doesn't really, let's say that doesn't work out, they have all these other irons in the fire that they can fall back on that can pay out for them, and that can pay out for investors. So that's my thoughts. I am happy to hear they have a 2-year runway. I think it was a solid earnings report, nothing spectacular. I hope they can keep their cash burn within the range it is right now, and even pull it back even more if they can. Otherwise, yeah. If you're looking to start a position with Atai Life Sciences, I would look to scalp shares around the $5 flat. And if you can, even a little less than $5. It's been dipping around there every now and then. So what is it? We have the I think it was the other day it went down to $4.82. So like, yeah, the low today was like $5.07. So like, if you could get it close to $5, I think that's a good buy. If you can get it underneath $5, that's a great buy, and you're getting it at pre-IPO prices. You're getting it cheaper than pre-IPO prices. So there were all those investors who were trying to get into Atai pre-IPO paid more than you're paying for these shares now. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, so where I would try to grab Atai, $5 flat, $5.02 is fine. $4.88 is an amazing buy, I think. I don't see it falling lower than that. If it does, great. But I think that's a great range to buy it in. And if you want to play the swings, you can even do that too, because Atai stays within its channel. If you're buying at 5, you can keep just flipping it at $5.70, something like that, and rinse and repeat. You run the risk of the stock running without you once the markets have like completely recovered. But if you're into kind of just swing trading, I think it's because of Atai and the channel it's been riding within. It's a good swing trade. This is not financial advice, by the way. This is just what I would do. But anyway, yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really do like Atai. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments or come join our Discord and you can ask me questions. I'll be in there as well. This is Adam with psychedelicinvest.com, and I hope you guys have a great weekend.